Welcome back. We're joined again by Fox 56 political analyst Jonathan Miller. Jonathan, right now in Kentucky, it's about 70-30 in favor of Trump. When you were the state treasurer 20 years ago, Democrats had the lopsided control in this state. Have Democrats been able to think over the last decades what has happened and caused this to flip so much?
You know, it really is remarkable. Actually, today is the 25th anniversary of my election as state treasurer, so I get to celebrate
Happy anniversary.
That was a long time ago. I was a lot younger, and the Democrats had a lot more influence over public policy. I think this is going to be a trend for some time. We really have seen a demographic shift where a state that's mostly rural, that's not college educated, that's white, that's conservative. Those are really fitting into all of Donald Trump's key constituencies. So for the time being, I think we're gonna stay a red state. But hey, a red state that elected Andy Beshear by a comfortable margin. Yeah. So Democrats can win on occasion.
And there really is a Trump bump, isn't there, for a lot of people down the ballot?
Yeah. No, I think you're seeing tonight that him being on the ticket has helped make sure that Republicans are able to block a significant effort for Democrats to take back some control of the House and the Senate.
You know, independents really are the fastest growing voter bloc here in Kentucky. What do you think that says about the two major parties?
Well, you know, both parties are a bit in disrepute these days. You know, there was a time, particularly when Biden was running, where people were saying maybe we need a third party, and we didn't like the choices that we had. But, you know, Kentuckians tend to be more independent-minded. Generally, people are falling into the blue team or the red team, but, you know, a lot of Kentuckians feel that I don't want to belong to a team. I want to vote for the candidate that best represents me, and might be a Democrat, Republican, or somebody else.
Yeah.
Everyone's really, of course, focused on the presidential race tonight, but it may be more important really to watch who's going to control Congress, and that will really determine what happens over the next 4 years. You think that's true?
Yeah, and we're not going to know that for at least a couple days. There are a number of key races going on in California. In California, they count very slowly, so it could be a matter of days before we learn those races, and they could make that decision. I think whatever happens, we're going to see the type of narrow margins that Republicans have been facing in the House that have made the House somewhat ungovernable, and Democrats, if they win, might find the same problem if they only win by 3 or 4 seats.
Looking ahead to 2026 and assuming that Mitch McConnell does not run for re-election, who do you think is going to jump in to run for Senate?
On the Republican side, I think it's going to be a wild battle. I think you see Andy Barr, who is our congressman, very interested in the race. Daniel Cameron has been mentioned to run for that seat even before he ran for governor. Hearing a lot about Thomas Massey potentially running, and Kelly Craft. You know, she ran for governor, but she's got the foreign policy background as UN ambassador. She might consider the race. So, Democrats, you hear a lot less of. Most people are talking about who might run for governor in 3 years, because again, it's easier for a Democrat to win governor than it is senator.
Yeah. You said earlier in our last hour that one of the things you were really watching is that Amendment 2 tonight. It appears that's being defeated almost 2-1.
Yeah,
Why is that, do you believe?
It looks like a master thumping going on. And again, as I mentioned earlier, even my Republican friends were thinking it would go down. I mean, what happens is that in the west and the east parts of the state that are typically more conservative, typically vote more on Republican issues, such as school choice, don't have the same kind of school choice options as folks might have in the Golden Triangle. So it really was against their interest to vote for an amendment that might take money out of their school systems. Now, Donald Trump's involvement in that, people thought might have given a kickstart to it. Every mail piece I got in favor of the amendment mentioned Donald Trump, but it wasn't enough, apparently.
Yeah, because there's some form of this in every state surrounding us and in more than 40 states around the country, but it just didn't, the message didn't hit home here.
Yeah, no, we really cherish our public schools since we have so many counties. In these smaller counties, the public school system is one of the biggest employers. It's very popular, and people would look to their principals and superintendents, and they were urging them, please don't take away our money, please vote no.
All right. Well, you've been out of politics now for a while. As you said, it's your 25th anniversary, but days like this, you're still really interested and involved, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. No, it's going to be a long night and an early morning. I'll be back here, and who knows, maybe I'll be here. I'll station out on the couch, because it could be be several days before we know the final results.
Yeah, well, we always have a place for you. Thank you, Jonathan Miller. We'll be right back.